been a long time, and I know we're not back to normal group, but what we wanted to do was some craft activities that you can do with your parents or carers at home. So because we're in October, we are looking at Halloween themed crafts. So I'm going to start with an apple and a sharp knife. So you need parents and carers to help you with this, probably cut it for you, and you want to cut straight through the centre of the apple. The idea being that you've got the dip at the top and at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to use some orange paint. And I'm going to dip my apple into the orange paint so it's completely covered. And then I'm going to place it on my paper, give it a little bit of a rock, not a wiggle, because if you wiggle it, you're going to end up with a smudge, which we don't want to. Can anyone guess what it's going to be? Bright orange. Okay, I'll put that to one side. So at the moment we've just got some orange splodges. We're going to turn these into Halloween pumpkins. So one that I did earlier. So this one's dry, and I'm going to take a black pen and I'm going to create little Halloween faces. I'm partially using the white areas that haven't printed on this one to create the faces, but you can draw whatever faces you might like. Once I've done that, I'm going to take a green pen, in fact probably a brown and a green pen. I'm going to create brown stalks coming out of the top. And then a little green leaf. So we end up with our little Halloween pumpkins. Okay, so our next crafting activity is another printing exercise. One that some of you will be a little bit familiar with, some may not. I'm using a toilet roll and a pair of scissors. Now you're probably going to need some help from parents and carers to get this sort of symmetrical, and when I say symmetrical, so I mean balanced. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut an area of where the body will be and where the legs will be. So I'm trying to cut roughly the same at the top and the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is at the top and the bottom, I'm going to try and cut fairly straight across to take these two sections off and the bottom section. So at the moment we've got the starts of the bottom and the top of your spider. You're then going to have to cut this into 4 strips on either side because a spider has 8 legs. So what I'm going to do is cut a snip down the centre, and then cut another snip down the centre of that one. I'm going to repeat the same this side, so central cut, and then another central cut, and another central cut. Now you'll notice I've tried to cut so that the snips are all to the same level, because I'm then going to fold out the spider's legs to create the area in which we are going to print. I've put some black paint already on my plate. Give it a good squidge around to make sure every area is covered. Okay. And then I'm going to lay this on my piece of paper, and I'm going to rock just slightly to make sure that we get the top and the bottom of the spider's body printed And then I'm going to give each leg a little tap on the paper to make sure the paint has made contact to print. And then I pull it away. I'll do another one. So place it on, give it a little rock. Try not to move it out of position. Tap each leg. Make sure all the legs are printed. And then pull it away. And we have the starts of your spiders. So you obviously need to leave that to dry. So I've got some that I prepared yesterday, and you'll be able to see what I've done. So on these, to give the spiders little characters, I've put little sticky eyes and drawn different funny mouths on. You don't have to use sticky eyes, you can use the boggly eyes and glue these on, so you get them in all different shapes and sizes and create lots and lots of funny little spider characters to decorate your home with. Now I know many parents and carers will probably remember making paper dolls as children. They probably don't ever remember making paper ghosts, which is what we're going to do today. So I've just got white file paper, which I've folded in half, so I've got a nice long strip. Now I've cut some of these already. I'm going to do a couple at a time actually. Now, because a length of file paper is about 29.5 centimetres, I've worked out that if I measure 5.5 centimetres for each section, so all I have to do is measure one, and as long as the paper is together, I make a nice sharp fold, and then I'm going to concertina it, so I'm going to fold it in the opposite way. Now the important thing is that you get that fold where the edge of the other piece of paper is. What I mean by that is the edge of the first paper is in line with that fold. I'm then going to turn it over and fold it exactly the same, but in the opposite direction. So again, this will be right next to where the previous fold was. And that should allow us just enough to fold over. So we've got a concertina of white. Now I've created myself a little template, which I'm going to draw around. And if I talk to Heidi really, really nicely, it may well be if I scan this image in, we can give you a link for the template too. It's important that we draw to the edges. So if the template doesn't quite fit, just keep extending it across. We want to make sure that we've got contact points throughout on the folds where the hands and the bottom of the ghost would be. I'm then going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around the template pencil marks. Remember, we don't want to cut down to this corner, we need to keep that contact point. It doesn't matter if you don't cut perfectly. As long as we've got a wibbly wobbly ghost looking shape at the end, that is absolutely fine. So I've cut to the bottom, so I'm keeping this contact point here. Now, you've got two choices when it comes to the face. You can either draw your face on, or you can cut your face out at the same time. Now I'm going to do it one layer at a time with this one because it's more difficult to fold it over and cut the facial shapes out. So to do this, you're going to have to fold the head over slightly to cut out your eye shapes. And again, fold over the edge of the face just to cut out a section for the eyes. So this one's got teeny tiny little eyes, and then the same more central one for the mouth. So then every one of your ghosties has the same facial expression. Now that, as I said, you don't have to cut them. It may be that you decide just to draw funny little faces onto each one.